delicious recipes that I'm going to be making with these boxed brownie mixes. So I'm going to be taking these up a notch. So if you like brownies, stay tuned. I think you'll enjoy the recipes I'm sharing today. This first brownie hack is a chocolate brownie cake. And technically, since we're using a cake mix for this, it could also be a cake mix hack. But we are doing brownie hacks, so that's what this one is. So you need 1 box of fudge brownie mix, and then 1 box of chocolate fudge cake mix. Then you will also need 1 cup of oil. I'm using canola oil, 1 1/4 cups of water, and 4 eggs. Do not use the ingredients on the back of the box. So just what I'm showing you here is what you will use to make this cake. You also need 1 cup of heavy whipping cream and 1 12-ounce bag of semi-sweet chocolate chip morsels, and that is for the chocolate ganache that's going to be poured over the cake. To a mixing bowl, you want to add your brownie mix, then add the cake mix, add the oil, the water, and then add the eggs. You want to mix this up until everything is completely blended well. Then to a prepared bundt pan, pour that cake and brownie mixture into that. Bake on 350 for about 50 to 55 minutes. And mine ended up overflowing, so I think my pan probably was a little bit smaller than what she used, and it cracked a little bit because I wanted to make sure that this was completely cooked. You can see where the overflow kind of went in the middle, but I did have it on a sheet pan just in case that happened. And this is what, when I turned it over, you could see where it came out, but that was completely cooked, so it was just an extra piece of cake. It's the way I looked at it. So it didn't hurt anything. It was fine. And I just kind of took the rest of it off. I took a knife and just peeled it away, or cut it away from the pan. And it was fine. So if you have if your pan, if it looks like it's going to overflow, you can just leave some of it out if you want to do that. Or if you have it on a pan like I did, it's not going to hurt anything. And you have a little bit extra cake there. So it was fine. As you can see, that it just baked that little bit that poured over. Now for the ganache, you will take and put this in the microwave for just about a minute or so. You want to kind of get where the milk has, like where it's got a little bit of bubbles in it. And take and put your chocolate morsels into that and let it sit for just a second, and then you will mix it up. You want to kind of let that melt a little bit before you start trying to mix it up. Then I just took a whisk and started melting it. So it doesn't take very long. At first it kind of looks like chocolate milk, and it doesn't seem like it's going to, really melt, but then you can see where it starts to thicken up. And it also gets to a glossy sort of color to it. So once I had it completely mixed in, like I said, you want to make sure it has a smooth consistency and it has that glossy look. Once I get all of that mixed up, I'm going to take and pour this over the bundt cake. Now I put the cake on a cake stand, and I did put some parchment paper under it, like halfway on each side, so that way it would be clean when I took it off. And I'm just pouring it over the cake. Now you can choose to pour all of it, or you can leave, some of the cake showing. I decided I wanted to pour the whole thing on top. And it does thicken up pretty quickly, so you need to work sort of fast with it. And I didn't use all of it. I probably had maybe a cup left. And this is what it looks like when it's done. And I pulled off those parchment papers and had like a cleaner look to it. So that way it wasn't all over the, cake stand. But you can kind of see how glossy it is. Now, this is very good when it's cold. So I put it in the refrigerator overnight, and it's to me, it kind of has like that Pepperidge Farm, like frozen cake that you get in the freezer section at your store. It kind of had that kind of flavor to it. It was very, very good. And this is not from the refrigerator. This is right after I poured the ganache on and everything and let it sit for a little bit and then cut it. But like I said, when it's in the refrigerator, it just has I like how it tastes. It just has a nice texture to it and everything, and it hardens up the icing a little bit. Very good. This next brownie hack is a Reese's stuffed brownie. So if you like peanut butter and chocolate, this is one to try. So for this one, you will need 1 box of chocolate fudge brownie mix, and I'm using Pillsbury for this one, 1 egg, and you need 4 ounces of cream cheese softened, a 1/4 cup of butter, and it calls for 16 Reese's cups frozen. I did not use all of them, so I'll show you, why when I get to that part. You will need 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1 cup of your favorite peanut butter, 1 stick of butter or 8 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of milk, and about 2 ounces of chocolate chips. And I believe I'm using semi-sweet for this. And this is a very easy way to level up a box of brownie mix. And your family will love this one. So add your cream cheese and the 1/4 cup of butter to your mixing bowl. You want to mix this up until it becomes creamy. So once you get that consistency, then you're going to add the egg and then add the brownie mix. And you will mix this up until you get a smooth consistency. But do not use any of the other ingredients that are on the back of the box. I want it to be clear to say that. Now, once you mix it up, you're going to get a thick consistency here. And I'm just trying to show you how thick it will be. You will grease an 8x8 inch pan. And I did want to use parchment paper so I could pull the brownies out, and I forgot to do that. So if you want to do that to cut it, you can absolutely do that. Now, once you get it in the pan, it's going to take a little bit of work just to kind of spread it out, and I'm just using the back of a spoon to try to do that. The grease kind of, the spray that I put in there, makes it not want to spread as well. So eventually I do get it to where it's an even layer on the bottom. So like I said, it's not where you're going to just pour it in. You kind of have to spread it. So just spread it the best that you can. And then eventually I used a knife to kind of get a little bit smooth on top. And it doesn't take that long at all. You just want that layer on the bottom to be level. So make sure it's an even level layer. Now, once you do get it smooth out, and you want to make sure these are frozen, your frozen Reese's. Press it into the batter to where it's level with the batter. And I was not able to use all 16. Even if I would have put them very close together, I don't think they would have fit anyway. So I used about 9, and that worked out fine. So just like I said, if you want to break them up a little bit and try to put them in, you can. But I feel like, if you use a larger pan, it's not going to work as well either, because then the brownie would be too small or be too thin. So 9 worked out fine. Now for the frosting, you're going to add your peanut butter, and your milk, and then add in the powdered sugar. Then use your mixer and mix this up until everything is completely combined, and you'll get a fluffy sort of frosting to put on top of your brownies. And I baked the brownie mixture in the oven on 350. The recipe said 28 minutes. It took a lot longer, so you will have to test it as you go. Just make sure that the brownie part of this is completely cooked. Let this cool completely, and then you will add your frosting on top. So this didn't take long at all. Just put it on top of your cooled brownies, spread it on top, and just get that even sort of layer. Now once you have it completely frosted on top, melt the chocolate chips in the microwave and then just drizzle it over the top of the peanut butter frosting. And I just used a spoon to do that. It was sort of thick, so it wasn't quite, easy to drizzle as I wanted to do. So I just kind of, placed it on top like that. Then I just kind of let this sit to the side to let that chocolate harden up just a little bit. And this is what it looked like when it was done, and cut them into little squares, and you can see the Reese's cup there. This was a very good recipe. It is very rich, so next time I had another piece, I had a smaller piece because, like I said, it's all of those flavors together are very good, but very rich. We really enjoyed this one, so this is definitely one to try if you like peanut butter and Reese's cups and chocolate. So this one was a hit. This next brownie hack is a banana brownie bread. And this is a super easy recipe. It only calls for 4 ingredients, so I love when a recipe uses minimal amounts of ingredients. So this one, you will need a brownie mix, and I'm using the brownie mix that she used in her recipe, which is the Betty Crocker Supreme Original Delights. And it called for 1 egg. I ended up using 2, a 1/3 cup of melted butter, and then you need 2 very ripe bananas, and that was about as ripe as those we're going to get, so that's what I used, and it worked out fine. So the first, and this also came with, this particular one came with a chocolate sauce, so I went ahead and added it into the cake mix as well. Added the eggs, the butter, and then just mixed it up really, really well. You want to make sure that you get that smooth consistency. I did not use a mixer for it, just by hand mixed it up. So once you get all of the powder of the brownie mix mixed in, take 2 of those bananas, just mash them up, and then put it into your brownie mix. Mix that well, and you're going to put it into a prepared 9 by 5 inch loaf pan. So I sprayed it with some nonstick spray, and then I'm just going to pour that right on in. Then I'm going to bake this in the oven on 350 between 55 and 60 minutes. So you'll just have to judge it and test it with a toothpick, when it comes out. It doesn't make a very thick loaf, so it's going to be a thinner loaf. And mine cracked a little bit on top, but that was okay. I wanted to make sure that it was cooked completely. Because sometimes the brownie mix may not cook, all the way through, but it did. So I put it on a plate and just cut those into slices. This was absolutely delicious. If you love banana bread, this is one to try. It's not overwhelmingly like brownie or anything. It is a banana bread. So I definitely, and that just didn't get mixed in as well. But this was delicious. So if you love banana bread, this is definitely one to try. It does have the texture of banana bread. It's not like a brownie texture or anything like that. And I feel like the brownie taste is subtle in this. It's chocolate, but the chocolate and the banana go well together. But I taste the banana more than anything. So really a good one to try. This next brownie hack is a Brownie Brittle. And I love Brownie Brittle. So when I saw a recipe to make it, I jumped on this one. So this one is very simple and easy to make as well. You need your favorite brownie mix. I chose to use the milk chocolate one. Then you need a 1/4 cup plus a tablespoon of water, a 1/4 cup of oil. You will also need a 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. I'm using semi-sweet, and 1 egg white. So 5 ingredients. That's it for this one. So simple and easy to make. Add to a mixing bowl your brownie mix. Add the oil. Add the water. So that's a 1/4 and a tablespoon of water. The egg white and your chocolate chips. Then you just mix this up until everything is completely combined. You want to make sure all of that the powder of the brownie mix is mixed in and the egg is mixed in well. So I took a cookie sheet or sheet pan, lined it with some parchment paper, and then I poured that mixture on top. And you want to get this as thin as you can. So about 1/8 of an inch is what I was trying to get. And that's about, as thin as I could get. Not quite sure if it was 1/8 of an inch or not, but I just got it as thin as I could. So I kind of formed it into a rectangle. And then I baked it in the oven on 300 for about 20 minutes, and then you test it to make sure it's firm, and then 20 more minutes, and then I turned it off and let it sit for 2 hours in the oven. And then I just started to break it apart. I tried to cut it. It's going to be hard. So this is crunchy. And you just break them into pieces. The first part I tried cutting it with a knife. You're not going to be able to do that. You will need to kind of just break it apart. Almost like a bark kind of candy. But these were delicious. So if you like Brownie Brittle, this is definitely one to try. It is crunchy. So you do have to be a little careful. I don't feel like they're that hard, but they are very crunchy. And as you can see, I just broke them into just different size pieces. You can have them, big, large, however you want. And I just wanted to show, this is Brownie Brittle that you can buy at the store. These are a little bit thinner and smaller. You don't get a lot in the bag, so that's why I like this recipe. It makes a lot, but you can kind of see the one that's in the bag. And they're also from this, they're going to be cut with a machine and everything, so they're going to be a little bit more, perfect. So you can kind of see the difference in theirs and mine. So if mine was a little bit thinner, maybe it would still be crunchy, but maybe not as, thick. But I liked it just as is. This was perfect. So if you like Brownie Brittle, definitely one to try, and you get so much more bang for your buck with this one than buying it at the store. For sure. This next brownie hack is a caramel toffee brownie cookie. This one is absolutely delicious. So this is kind of similar to like a turtle type cookie. And for this, you need a brownie mix. So your favorite brownie mix that you like. I like to use this fudge one. And then you'll need 1 tablespoon of chocolate syrup, and whatever kind you like. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You'll need a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/4 cup of melted butter, 2 eggs. You'll need about a 1/2 cup of some toffee bits. And these are caramel bits. So these are Kraft caramel bits that you can get at Walmart. And some mini chocolate chip morsels, so that's a 1/2 cup each. You'll also need 1 cup of the caramel bits and 4 teaspoons of water, and that's going to be to drizzle on top of the cookie when it's done. So the first thing that you will need to do is just, if you have a large mixing bowl, add your brownie mix to that, add the flour, and then you want to just whisk that together just to combine the two. Then add your eggs, add the melted butter, and the syrup. Also the vanilla. Take a fork and just kind of mix it up a little bit. You want to just start to get it mixed. Then take your mixer and mix it the rest of the way for about 2 to 3 minutes. Add the chocolate chips and the caramel bits. Mix it very well. You want to make sure you get all of that coated in the brownie mix. The next step would be to take a lined cookie sheet with some parchment paper, take a cookie scoop or a spoon, whichever you have, and just scoop those onto your cookie sheet. You're going to bake these in the oven on 350 between 8 and 9 minutes. As soon as they come out of the oven, take the toffee bits that you have and sprinkle those on top. I did press a few into the cookie as well. And the next step would be to melt those caramel bits in the microwave. You add the water to it, melt it, and just start to drizzle it with a spoon or a fork. And make sure that the cookies are cooled before you start adding the caramel, because otherwise it will just melt completely on top. So make sure your cookies are cool. Once you're done, that is it. And these were absolutely delicious. You can also add a little bit of sea salt on top if you'd like. I didn't have any on hand, so I didn't do that. But they were good without that as well. And they're a nice, chewy, gooey cookie. So if you like chewy cookies, this is one to try. It's similar to like a turtle cookie. Really delicious. And if you like caramel and chocolate and toffee bits, then you will love this one. I hope hope this video gave you some ideas on how you can take a boxed brownie mix and take it up a notch and make some delicious desserts. I will leave the links down below in the description box of where I got these recipes that I made in this video. So please be sure to check that out if you'd like to make these. And I also wanted to say welcome to my new subscribers that I have here. I wanted to say thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube family. I absolutely appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who comes and watches my videos, takes time out of their day to do that. It means a lot to me, and I do appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in seeing more like it, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. That'll notify you when I post new videos. I hope everyone has a blessed day and a great week. God bless y'all.